Welcome everybody to today's Cruising with Ted presentation. Today we have the opportunity to hear from Denis Fraind, who is from Avalon Waterways. She's going to join us in just a minute. We'll let a few more people in. Thank you so much. And we'll go to the next slide. And here's our host. So welcome everybody. This is Cruising with Ted. And today we're going to have a live video presentation courtesy of Avalon Waterways. I'd like to welcome Denis Fraind, who's the Business Development Manager for Avalon Waterways. Take it away, please.
Well, hello there. How are you? I am Denis Fraind. I am your Business Development Manager and for Cruising with Ted. And I just wanted to thank you for having me, Ted, and the team. So we are here to talk about Avalon Waterways. Let me just get my screen up here. There we go. So I have been with the Globus family of brands for, believe it or not, Ted, 23 years. Time flies.
Wow.
So, yep, back in 2004, Globus decided to come out with a new brand. We were selling another river cruise company and we were filling up space. So Globus felt, you know what, why don't we start building our own ships? So we now have our own ships. And fast forward to today, we have 13 that are in the water and then a 14th coming out in 2024. So 14 ships that are ours, 13 in Europe, one in Southeast Asia, which is actually the one right behind me. This is Vietnam, Cambodia, and the Mekong. We have one that just started back up about 3 weeks ago, back on the Mekong. It hasn't been operating for a little bit during COVID, so now it's back. So yeah, so we started in 2004 and haven't looked back, and Avalon's doing quite well. So we're just going to talk about the differences with Avalon Waterways. And then at the end, I'll tell you about some of the promotions that we have going on. So this is what the ship looks like here. They're all pretty identical, which is also nice that they're all the same. It's just either 126 people or 166 people. So as I say that, that is one of the key differences with Avalon Waterways. And for those of you that are on, I don't know if you've already been on a river cruise, or maybe, you know, this is brand new and you want to go on a river cruise. So, you know, what's nice now is that everybody's pretty familiar with what a river cruise is and what happens on a river cruise. It's just that all of us are a little bit different in our own little ways. Just like big ship cruising, you know, you kind of fall into the one that you're most comfortable with. And we're the same. You know, you have about 4 or 5 big river cruise companies out there. So I just want to show you just some of the differences with Avalon. So when you look at the cabin here, or the ship, you'll see the cabins, there is like a little fine line there on the bottom in blue. Those are cabins down there. Those are our category Ds and Es. Those are 172 square feet. That is another key difference with Avalon. That is our smallest cabin, 172 square feet. Some of our competitors have cabins that are 150 square feet, 135 square feet. And I mentioned the size, 166 is our max. Some river cruise companies have 190 plus on their river cruise. So looking at the ship here, you have those cabins in the bottom. All those cabins above that are all panorama suites. And I'll show you some pictures on those. And we do have 2 royal suites, and those are 300 square feet. If you look in the front of the ship there on the bottom, that is your dining room, and above that is your main lounge. So low passenger count, it's either 126 or 166 passengers. We have a high crew attention, 2 to 1, and we have a very high guest satisfaction rate. So just imagine you are in your cabin right now and you're looking out. So that's the bed on the right. These panorama suites are 200 square foot cabins, bed facing out. You see behind Ted, Mary Pat, Christy. Looks like you guys are in the cabin, right? Bed facing out, 200 square feet. And you'll see the one that I'm here in front of. Again, that's the one that's the Saigon on the Mekong. These are 245 square feet with the beds facing out and only 36 passengers on board. We're very relaxed luxury. We're casual, but it's very luxurious. Yes, we don't have butlers, but I just can't imagine it being any better. And I'm not just saying that because I work for Avalon, but we do a fantastic job. So looking at the cabin, you'll see there is a sofa here on the left. There's a chair. What's nice about these cabins is that it is a full 200 square feet. So what some river cruise companies do is they might put a balcony on there, but they count it in the size of the stateroom. This is 200 square feet of complete living space. Bed is a little bit higher. You can put your suitcases underneath. Closets are huge. You can put both suitcases in there, plenty of hangers, plenty of room. And this is an 11-foot sliding glass door and 7 feet of it open up. What's nice about this floor to ceiling, setup in the cabin, it's throughout the whole ship. It's in the main lounge. It's in the dining room. It's in the club lounge in the back of the ship, this floor to ceiling window. So 30% larger suites than our competitors. And again, 80% of our cabins are panorama suites. And why do I call it panorama suite? I think Ted, you and I talked about this earlier. We call it a panorama suite because our first ship where we changed the design of our cabins to look like what we're in right now was our panorama ship. So that's kind of what started the whole name of the panorama suite. So Cruise Critic, we were named Best River Cruise Line Shore Excursions, Best in European River. We just won the Reader's Choice Award for 2022 and 2021 for Best River Cruise and one of our ships. So we do a fantastic job. It says here, Best River Cruise Line Shore Excursions. And why would we be picked for our shore excursions? So we'll talk about that too. So here is our fleet. So you'll see the first one was the panorama on the left-hand side on the bottom. That's where we changed the design of our ships. So these are all of our ships in the water right now. We end at the end of the year with our Christmas markets, which are starting up here next week. Those are sold out. If you're interested in Christmas markets for next year, you need to book those early. They sell out every year. And what's nice about those is we have 5 Christmas market cruises. We have 7-night, 5-night, 4-night Christmas market cruises. So this is your fleet in Europe. And then you'll see in 2018, that is our Avalon Saigon, the one that I'm sitting here in front of. And again, that just started back up again for Vietnam, Cambodia, and the Mekong. So looking at that ship on the screen right there, you'll see the lounge on the bottom, the dining room on the bottom, the lounge up on the top. It's so beautiful at night, right? To see everything all lit up. And what's nice about river cruising is the ship docks, you get off, you go on your walking tours. We divide everybody up and we have headsets for all of our walking tours. So the guide has a microphone, you have a bud in your ear, and all of these excursions are included in the price. So that's what's so nice about river cruising. I mean, look at this. You've got land on each side. On our active and discovery cruises, we cruise a lot during the day and we drop people off as we go along. You can just pull over and pick people up. It's great, so everything is so close and everything is in view, which is nice. So beautiful little towns that you pass by, a lot of beautiful scenery. I was on the Moselle in June, and that scenery is completely different than other rivers because it's all the vineyards on these mountains. And it's like, how do they pick these grapes? Because it is straight up. I did the lower Danube this year, and the scenery is completely different. It's more, you know, a lot of foliage. You do see some towns, but then you go through the Iron Gates, which is like these fjords that you go through. Absolutely gorgeous. It's not like a big ship cruise where you're at sea and you have nothing to look at. You always have something to look at when you're on a river cruise. And again, we pull off, we dock, divide you guys up, and you go on walking tours. And you have all of these different choices to pick from. So choices. Why were we nominated for our excursions? What we have for our excursions are 3 different types of excursions, and they're all labeled. Active is active. It's a bike ride. It's hiking, biking, early morning walks, early morning runs. Not many people sign up for the early morning runs, but we have it. So we have an adventure host on all of our ships, not just our active and discovery cruises, but all of our ships. That host will take them on their walks, their runs, their bike rides. They're fun. I remember the first one I went on, it was the active and discovery on the Danube. I took the bike tour in Vienna, and it was so much fun. But we have this on all of our cruises, not just our active and discovery cruises. So our discovery excursions, I call them like experiences, off the beaten path excursions. It could be painting like Van Gogh that you see there, wine tasting in a cave, beer tasting at where the Trappist monks are. So classic is a classic, just a walking tour, canal cruise in Amsterdam. Most days it's either or, and you're like, oof, which one do I do? What some river cruise companies do is they give one excursion and then everything else is additional. We have all of these excursions. You can book these before you go, even though they're included, or wait until you get there. I would recommend, especially for next year, because we're filling up very fast, book the excursions before you go, because if there's something that you really want to do, they can fill up. You can always change it when you get there because they're included. You can always change it. But if there's something that you really want to do, like the bike tour in Vienna or the bike ride down the Danube or the Rhine, then book that before you go. We do have some optional excursions, not many. Like one would be a Mozart concert in Vienna. One would be an excursion to Český Krumlov. But most of the time, my bill at the end of these cruises are like, it's like 10 euros. That's usually my bill at the end of the trip. For alcohol, so we have mimosas in the morning. We have beer and wine for lunch with refreshments, beer and wine and refreshments for dinner. And what's new for next year is happy hour is on us. So coming up until next year, it's 2 for 1, an hour before dinner or an hour after dinner. But for next year, on us, it's included. So like you said, Ted, you can quick get your drinks in that 1 hour, right? But you said you can only have about 1 or 2 anyway, right? So our mobile app. So before you go, you'll get an email saying time to book your excursions. Then you'll get an email saying time to book or time to download your app. All of our brands has an app. You would go on your phone. If it's Avalon, you would download your Avalon Go app. You put in your invoice number and up pops your invoice with your documents. It has your day-to-day itinerary. It has a journal, things to do, places to go, must-see sites, augmented reality navigation. What you do is you put your camera up to a statue and it tells you what you're looking at and the history. Currency calculator, weather. It's a pretty cool app. It's perfect because your documents are in there. We're trying to, for Globus and Avalon, all of our brands is reduce plastic on board and paper. On board Avalon right now, we are completely paperless. So The newsletter you'll see on the ship throughout on the TV, but it's on your phone. It's in the app. It's the daily newsletter and also the menu, but they will give menus because I know a lot of us still want our menus. But we were used to just pulling up our menu, before we went into the dining room and looking at the menu, before we get in there. So it's nice. The wine during dinner is local wine. It's, regional wine, which is nice. And don't forget, when you're on a river cruise, you can bring on whatever you want alcohol wise, they won't confiscate it. The adventure is up to you. Again, we have an adventure host on all of our ships, and they also have yoga classes in the morning, exercising in the afternoon. Again, they do the walks in the morning, the hikes. We have a room that has binoculars, walking sticks, if you want to get that from the adventure host. And then the bikes on board, you just sign them out. There are 2 e-bikes. So always with Avalon, you can stay longer or you can go ahead of time. You can do pre-nights, you can do post-nights. And a lot of our river cruises, you can add a Globus tour, like a Switzerland tour if you're doing a Rhine river cruise. So here you'll see a sample of a 7-night cruise. These are extensions that you can add on. You can add Amsterdam, you can add Paris and London, you can add Lucerne and Lake Como, and then you could add Lucerne, Lake Como, and Milan. And again, we have 2 Globus tours that you could add on to this for Switzerland. I did in 2019 a Cosmos tour, which is our sister company. It's a little bit more on the budget side for land tours. It was Switzerland by rail. I have to tell you, it was one of my favorite vacations, and you can match that up with this river cruise. It was absolutely wonderful. And my prior life before Globus, 23 years ago, was Amtrak. So I'm a train person, and it was a fabulous trip. So a little bit about our food. Again, you can look at the menu, before you get to dinner, but we have a lot of different options. But what we did a few years ago is we went to these chefs. They are vegan. They have a vegan restaurant in Vienna. Their parents were the first vegan restaurant in Austria. So these 2 brothers, they're called the Rank brothers. We went to them to help us with fresh items on our menu. It's called Avalon Fresh, and they are vegan items, low-fat items. There are a lot of people that are gluten-free, diabetic, allergic to nuts, allergic to oils. So what we do before you start the cruise, the first day when you get on, the chef will come and meet with you if you have any food allergies, and they'll go over the menu. It's pretty funny. They actually stalk you on board. I was traveling with somebody that was gluten-free, and they're like, oh, hey, okay, look at the menu. You can't eat this. You can't eat this. We have an Avalon Fresh on here that you can eat. Here's some gluten-free crackers, gluten-free cookies. So they actually take your picture and they put it in the kitchen. So they know what you're allergic to, and they kind of try to keep track. I mean, they can't keep track of everyone, but they do a pretty good job. So with our meals, we have an early riser breakfast. We have a buffet breakfast. For lunch, you'll see here on the left-hand side on the screen, the back of the main lounge, we have a little bistro. It's basically similar items to the lunch menu or the dinner menu that we have. But if you don't want to go for a full lunch and sit in the dining room, you can go to this little part in the main lounge for lunch and dinner. It's really nice. Like for lunch, it's soup and salad, and then a couple things from the lunch menu or the dinner menu. So for lunch, again, you could go to the main lounge in the back there, or you can sit down and have lunch. It's a buffet, or order from the menu. Dinner is sit-down dinner from 7 to 9, but it's flex dining. It's from 7 to 8:30. You can come as you wish, but you can also go to the main lounge in the back. We do have continental breakfast that you can get for room service, but that's it. That's the only room service that we have. You see there that picture in the middle, the 2 people that are up on the top deck. The weather's great. And we're docked. We'll have a little bistro outside, up on the top deck. It's really nice. They'll do items that are on the menu, but some days they'll do, hamburgers, hot dogs. But dinner is fantastic. They do a great job with the meals. And then this is what I was talking about with Avalon Fresh, with our fresh items and our vegan items. So 3-to-1 guest ratio. Oh, here is the new ship. So I wanted to tell you about this before I talk about our active and discovery cruises. This is our new itinerary for 2024. It's the Alegria, that's the name of the ship, and it's on the Douro River in Portugal. So we will have the newest ship out there for Portugal, only 100 passengers on board. We'll have the cabins on the bottom that are 172 square feet, but all the rest of the cabins are those 200 square foot panorama suite cabins. We will not have royal suites on board because we just don't have room, because there's only 100 passengers on board. So it's in and out of Porto. So it's open for sale. All Avalon is open for sale for 2024, including the Douro River. So active and discovery, we started this a couple years ago. Every river cruise now that we have, every itinerary now has an active and discovery cruise. What's nice about these is they are more port intensive. You're like our active and discovery on the Danube, you're in Vienna for 2 days. You don't get that on a river cruise. So what's nice about these is even though they're active in discovery. So what does that mean, active in discovery? So we have those 3 types of excursions: active, discovery, and classic. On our classic river cruises, you have more of the classic and discovery excursions with some active. With these, you have more active and discovery with a little bit of classic excursions. Please look at these. Don't think the word active like you have to be a triathlon athlete. That is not the case. I love these because, again, they're more port intensive and they cruise more during the day. I traveled with a friend in April. We did the active and discovery on the Moselle, and she's like, wow, this is really leisurely. And the one that we did a few months prior, it was not active in discovery and it was pretty busy, but we cruised more at night. So please look at these as an option. They're absolutely wonderful. So the new one that we have for 2024 and 2023 is the new active and discovery on the lower Danube and the active and discovery on the Danube from Croatia to the Black Sea. So I traveled with a bunch of people in 2019 on the Danube. I did the active and discovery, and I had people that said, I'm on vacation, I'm not doing any active. But they still had full days with all these other excursions. I had some people that were cyclists. They did all the bike trips. They took the bikes on board. I had somebody that brought her teenage daughters. These are perfect for multi-gen. If you guys want to travel with your, with your kids and your grandkids, these are perfect. We do take children. It's 6 and over, but honestly, there's not much to do for children, but this is perfect for teenagers if you want something a little bit different and you want to travel on a river cruise. And what's nice is that we give options. So some can do the active, some can do the discovery. You don't all have to do the same excursions, right? So this is how it's divided up for the active and discovery. 40% of the excursions are active, 40 are discovery, and then 20% are the classic walking tours. So this is the active and discovery on the Danube. It's very similar to a Danube cruise, but again, we're in Vienna for 2 days. It's really nice. It gives you a lot of time in Vienna. And see how, like from Linz to Mauthausen, to Grine, to Krems, to Spitz, you don't have much distance between each other. So that's why we cruise during the day. So you have a lot of time in each place. And it's great to cruise during the day, right? You get to see all the scenery. And these are just some of the choices that you have. So this one, you can do Count Dracula's prison in Visegrad. You can take a canoe ride, an insider tour of Vienna. We have that bike trip. And then we also have some wine tasting. So some really different excursions. This is a newer one that we came out with a couple years ago. This is Active in Discovery on the Rhone. So this is like your Burgundy and Provence. And this is one of the excursions. You do wine tasting in a cave. Like, how cool is that? You put on your cave gear, which I think that's probably just for show, but you still have your cave gear because you're in a cave and you have a light. And it's just a small group that we have, and you do wine tasting. So this gentleman keeps his wine in the cave, and it's a perfect place to keep your wine. This is one for Lower Danube. This is a new one, Active in Discovery. I actually did this itinerary in April, not the Active in Discovery. It was one of the best river cruises. We did the Transylvania extension in Romania. It is wonderful. We did Budapest to Bucharest, but we have all of these different itineraries, like this one where you go from Croatia to Bucharest. And that's a new one for 2023. So a lot of inclusions. Like I said, a lot of river cruise companies only give one excursion. So this is another one, Croatia to the Black Sea, a little bit different itinerary. And these are just some of the excursions. Go to the Rock Church, the national park that's in Croatia, and then we also have a local winery. So I know, Ted, you and I were talking about this. This is very unique for Avalon. We have short and sweet river cruises. These are 3-night, 4-night, 5-night river cruises. So no other river cruise company has this many short river cruises. These are perfect for groups. You know, if you want to go with your family, travel with your family. If any of you want to work with anybody at Ted's office, if you want to work with Mary Pat and Christy and Ted for a charter, right? We would all be your new best friends, but these are perfect for charters. And you might all go charter, really. You would be surprised how quick you can fill 126 or 166 people, right? So, right, Mary Pat and Christy and Ted, right? We would love
Absolutely.
for you to charter a ship, right? Yeah. And those of you that have companies that maybe you have large groups that you do have events, this is perfect for a short one. The price point is a lot lower than a 7-night river cruise. And these are just some of the excursions that we have.
Oh, Denise, I wanted to mention too, if anybody has any questions, or if they've been on the Avalon cruise or they're interested, go into the chat box. You can go to Alt-H to enter the chat box, put in any feedback, questions you have. Also, there will be a test after this, a 3-part test. So you do need to be paying attention. Okay. We don't want anybody to flunk.
So I do want to talk a little bit about the promotions that we have going on for Avalon right now. We are open for 2023, of course, and for 2024. So we have all different kinds of promotions. It just depends what sailing you're looking at and how full the ship is, right? Because some are pretty full right now. So the promotion may only be $500 off. Some are $750 off. Some are $1,000 off. Some have a promo plus an air promo of $599. So you would just get with Mary Pat, Christy, Ted, you know, to see which one would be best for you with the promotion. If you travel as a single, or you know somebody that travels as a single, all of our dates, all of our sailings have waived single supplements. We allow 5 cabins to have a waived single. You can take a lower category, a D and E, the one that has the window, or you can take a cabin like what we're sitting in front of. You can take one of those cabins for a waived single. We just don't allow anybody to take a single in a royal suite. We have 2 cabins that are 300 square feet on our ships. We even have wave singles on our Vietnam, Cambodia, and Mekong cruise. So if you're checking on a date with one of your advisors and We don't have a waived single for that date. It just means that we maxed out already at the 5, but ask them to ask. It does not hurt to ask. They would come to me and I can ask to see if we can get another waived single. Somebody said to me, if you don't ask, the answer is no, right? So just let us know and we can ask if we can get another waived single. If you do take a waived single, you can't get the $5.99 air or another promo because the waived single is a huge promotion and that is the promotion. Also starting on Monday, I can't tell you what it is, but we're going to have some, I can't curse, kick butt Black Friday sales. So please check with your advisor on our Black Friday sales. They will last a week. I think the 21st is Monday, right? Yes. So they will start on Monday and they're really good. So you can add these Black Friday sales to other promotions that we have. So just check with everybody and they can let you know what the Black Friday sales are on Monday. And don't forget also, we don't just go to Europe and we don't just go to the Mekong. We have cruises for Egypt. We have cruises for the Amazon. We have cruises for the Galapagos. You know, I can't be here all day with you guys and go over everything, right? Because Ted would be like, you got to get off. You got to stop talking. But we do have exotic river cruises. We have the Ganges River in India. We have the Mekong, right, which you see here, Vietnam, Cambodia, and the Mekong. We have the Yangtze River for China. We have the Amazon. And what's nice for the Galapagos, it's a yacht, but we also have Galapagos for Globus, which is our sister company. And for Egypt, we only do 4 nights on the Nile. We don't backtrack. It's like half the price of our competition. So what are the questions that we have, Ted?
Go ahead, Mary Pat or Christy. And there's our phone numbers and information as we do that. Any questions? I think there was one.
I think Mary Pat is muted.
Mary Pat, I think you're on mute. You got to unmute here. Ask.
Well, I can start.
Why don't you
Denise.
take care of it because she's muted.
Sure.
Christy.
Jonine, I hope that I'm saying your name right. They want to know, do they still include Gentle Walkers group on the cruises?
They do. They do.
Okay.
You know, and a lot of it, they do it on the fly if people are asking for it, but yes. And then what they also do are different modes of transportation, right? Like, let's say you walk to a castle, they'll have an alternative way to get up there. So yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And while you're on there, Christy, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and
Sure.
what you can offer to the Avalon public out there?
Yeah, I think that was actually it for the questions, Denise. But so, yeah, my name is Christy. I've been in the travel business for 20 years. I've pretty much traveled the entire world. It feels that way anyway. So I'm here to help you. You know, like Denise said, you can add a Globus tour prior to your cruise or post cruise. We can also, if you don't want to do a full like Globus tour, Mary Pat and I can customize your pre and post cruise options. And I have to say, if you've never cruised Avalon, you will love it. The beds facing out are amazing. Their food is phenomenal. The tours are great. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Mary Pat. One of the other things we can also do is quote your insurance. I always recommend travel insurance anytime you're traveling. It's very important. It's when you think that you're not going to need it is when you need it. So I believe I've covered everything. Is there anything you want to say, Mary Pat?
Go ahead, Mary Pat.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see all the folks that show up for these. I'm your European specialist. I lived in Germany for 18 years. I had several years living just minutes from the Rhine and several years just minutes from the Mosel. So I've done everything on those rivers. I'm always excited when I get to go back, and I will be back there in 17 days. So if you have any questions on any of the European cruises, give me a call. I'd be glad to walk you through it and share my excitement.
All right. Thank you, Mary Pat. And so my name's Ted Kabowski. Cruisingwithted.com is our website. Since the turn of the century, we have successfully assisted tens of thousands of discerning travelers just like you. We offer insider access to travel deals on all major vacation vendors. So, you know, we specialize in small ship cruise vacations, airline reservations, boutique hotels, unique destination tours and excursions. Each of our agents average over 20 years of seasoning in the travel industry. And we also are very visible on social media. We have over 40,000 followers of Cruising with Ted on social media. Go to our Facebook page, Cruising with Ted, like our page. And on our page there, you'll see we have over 23 travel Facebook groups, of which Avalon Waterways is one of our major Facebook groups with over 1,000 followers right there on our Facebook group. We have travel publications, so you know, we'll send you emails and direct you to insider information on Facebook about small ship cruises and bespoke land travel on our website and travel pages. Here's one called Rhone if you want to. So it's it covers the Rhone and what Avalon offers on the Rhone River. And we have a website, it's called Cruising with Ted. And you're welcome to sign up on our website for our free offers and win a free vacation. Like I said, you have an opportunity to work with us with all the cruise lines and travel vendors. And we also offer specials and deals. So sign up on our website for our specials and deals. Here's something on France River Cruises we're featuring right now, savings up to $2,500 per couple. And you'll see on the right here, we're part of Signature Travel Consortia, which has tens of thousands of agents like us that band together and give you exclusive complimentary land deals. So you can get a complimentary pre or post cruise night on us. You don't have to pay a dime for that, right, Denise? Oh, Denise is she's on
Sorry,
mute.
I'm muted. Yes, you're right.
But we offer extra land tours and other perks, onboard credit and more. So even if you booked directly with Avalon, we encourage you to reach out to us to see if we can extend any of our offers to you, or better yet, call us first before you book. And you know, we can offer everything they have. We can offer the loyalty program of the cruise line, but we get extra benefits as well. So everything they have, we can match and add extra. Correct, Denise?
Yes, and because of the consortia you're with, you get some added benefits that you can give to your clients. Yeah, that they can't get this anywhere else.
Okay, so now we're going to have a little quiz here to make sure everybody's paying attention to some of the things that we may have covered, some or not. So you're welcome to answer in the chat. Of course, you know, everyone's going to be, you know, answering immediately. What is the name of the Avalon travel app? Anybody know there? Anybody saying, Mary Pat or Christy in the chat? I'm sure there's tons of people answering, so it's gonna
Somebody answered with Avalon Go. Avalon Go.
Someone said that?
2 people answered.
Oh yeah, Pauline
Who answered? Who did that?
Janine. You have 2 folks that came up with that.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Well, maybe you've used the app yourself, but you know, it does put your cruise itinerary, flights, destination tips, everything you need to know right there on your phone, and includes AR, augmented reality. So like you see here a picture of you can see that it says this is Martha's Church, and it tells you all about it. And this is live. You're looking at something on your phone with a picture, right, Denise? Tell us how this works.
Yeah. So I used it recently in Avalon, but I remember the first time I used it was when I was with Globus, and it's the Globus Go app. And I was in Dublin, and there's a statue all about the potato famine that they had. And I put my app in my phone, and you open up your camera, and I went right on the statue, and behind it is a ship, and it explained the ship, the statue, the history. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little app.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. And what is the name of the lounge at the back of the ship? What is the name of the lounge at the back of the ship?
I always want my cabin to be right here by
What's the name of the lounge? Anybody? Don't everybody answer at one time, you know? Okay. So what is the name of the lounge? The back of the ship, the Royal Deck. The Club Lounge, also known as the Quiet Lounge. Here you can read, play a game with friends, have a snack 24/7, or sit on the small outside deck and watch the river. What do you do on this deck, Denise?
So get tested for COVID. Yeah, not anymore. Starting March 1st, just so you know, we are dropping all requirements for vaccinations, but you don't have to test to come home anymore, which is nice. But the back of the ship is the Club Lounge. And what's nice is the cappuccino maker is back there. We have a cappuccino maker that's in the main lounge, but we also have one that's back here, free, has lattes, cappuccinos, hot chocolate. You want to take it home. It's a really good machine. So I always like my cabin to be right there.
And you know, Denise, earlier you mentioned those, floor to ceiling windows, which I see here. So
There you go. Yeah, throughout the whole ship.
that's really cool. I love that. All right. What do the different colored towels in the cabin and bathroom signify? Da, 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 da. What do the different color of towels in the cabin bathroom signify? Anybody?
Keep this at home.
Anybody want this? Take a chance. All right. Don't be shy.
Oh, there you go.
Anybody?
Yep.
What? Mary Pat? No?
Who used what?
Is what
Huh?
Jonine has said, who used what?
Very good.
Know whose towel
there's
is
what-
whose.
Huh?
That way you know whose towel is whose.
Yeah.
Yes, you have white and brown towels. I believe, I don't know, depending on who's in your room or whatever, but the white can be the woman and the brown is the man. What's going on with that, Denise? Explain this.
Yep. It's either her and her, his or her, his and his towel, what have you. But yes.
Good idea.
Yeah. You claim it. All right. I'm going to take the white towel. Don't touch my towel.
Yeah, I think me and my wife should do this at home.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, thank you
Touch
so
my
much.
towel.
So here's some of our client testimonials, like we work with all the small ship cruise lines, Regent, Viking, Avalon. We do expedition cruises. So, people like our extra credit. We also have a travel app that we use ourselves, similar to what you guys have.
Mhm.
And so these are some of the great testimonials we get all the time. And here's how you reach us. Roxanne couldn't be here today, but she's in Las Vegas. Mary Pat is in Central Florida. There's me, Ted, the Cruising with Ted, and there's Christy. She's in New York. Okay, so if you need help, save our name and number, reach out to us. So like I say, if you're planning whatever kind of travel it is, we'll be here to help you, give advice. And here's our final information to contact us. We are seasoned travelers ourselves, so we know what is needed and when it is needed, so there's no surprises. So regardless of where you are in your travel planning, please contact us today, Cruising with Ted. Anything else anybody wants to add here before we sign out?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks, Mary Pat and Christy, for joining today. Thank you, everyone out there. We are going to post a recording of this in our Avalon group, Avalon Waterways Facebook group, and also on the Cruising with Ted Facebook page. And be sure to visit our website. Thank you so much. Keep sailing, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.